Yes, Zikra. What is your favorite subject, Zikra?
Science. And science.
Science. Okay. In science?
Math, chemistry, and physics.
Yes. Okay. Now, see, I'm going to teach you the fundamental unit of life, the first chapter of biology. Okay. Now, when you see what is fundamental unit of life,
Cell is the fundamental unit of life.
it is cell. Okay. Cell is called the building block of all living organisms.
It's the fundamental unit of life, right?
Yeah. Why do we call cell as building block of all organism? Can you say? Yeah. Why it is called building block?
Because cells form tissues which then form the whole body.
Yeah, yeah. I can give you an example. Like in the house, yeah, we live. This is I'm drawing it. Yeah, I live in this building. This is a take this as a house. Okay, in this house, which is the most building block of this building? Yeah, from which this house is made up of the smallest particle, the smallest thing, the smallest substance. Okay, inside a building, we have rooms, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
we have rooms, different rooms. Okay, and what are those rooms made up of?
Ma'am, cells?
They are made up of
Cells?
bricks. Bricks, right?
Sorry,
Bricks.
yeah, bricks.
This is bricks. Okay. So likewise, in our body, in living organism, cell is the building block. So every organism are made up of cells. Okay. Now, Advika, you told me that tissue from cells we make tissues. Then from
Yes,
tissues we have organs. Then from organ we have organ system. Then
And
organ
then we have
system.
body.
Then we have organism. Right?
Yes, and then the complete body.
So the fundamental unit of life is cell. From which is the starting point? It's cell.
Cell.
Yes. Now, when I was young, I thought that okay, cell is the fundamental unit of life. Then what about atom? I was thinking which one is the smallest. Then I found that atom will be smallest. Why? Advik?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So when I was in 9th, 10th, I read this right fundamental unit of life.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then I learned that we are made up of self. The basic thing is it is self. So
Yes.
yeah, I was thinking is cell the most basic or atom?
Ma'am, atom because cells are also made up of something, right?
Yeah. From chemistry we have biology, right?
Yeah, ma'am, that's what I was going to ask, ma'am. Cells are made up of something, right? Like, so it's obviously atom. Now, even I had the questions that cell is the fundamental unit, but obviously it's made up of something which is an atom.
Yeah. Now we'll look into how cell was discovered. Discovery of cell.
Ma'am, Robert Hooke discovered the cell. Ma'am, Robert Hooke discovered the cell.
Yeah, Robert Hooke discovered cell. How did he do that? Like there is
By
story behind
observing
this.
yes, ma'am. In the previous class we learned it. Ma'am, this king had assigned him.
Your voice is not that audible.
Ma'am, is it better now?
Can you speak louder?
Oh yes, ma'am. Ma'am, ma'am, the king had given Robert Hooke a mission to look under the microscope at the cork and tell what it's made up of, and then he saw that it was made up of it was made up of small structures, and then he called it a cell because it looked like the bars of a prison.
Yeah. Your voice is so slow. It's okay. You were telling. Advika?
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yeah. When you are telling, can you hear me now? I can hear you. I can hear you clearly. When you are explaining, the voice is going down.
Ma'am, like the story behind the discovery is that the king had given Robert Hooke an assignment to look.
There was a king.
Yes, ma'am, a king.
Yeah.
Who had given him the assignment to look under the microscope, and he found out he used the cork.
Correctly, yeah. There was a king, and he gave this to finding the observing the microorganism to Christopher, but he was kind of busy, so he gave it to Robert Hooke. Okay, then where was I? Robert Hooke. Okay, he discovered cell. Where was I? Yes, Advika. What we were discussing?
And the question is, who discovered the cell?
Ma'am, Robert Hooke discovered cell.
Yeah, what is the story behind that?
Ma'am, he was actually, on a bark of a tree. He was watching with his microscope in it, and he found something like no, like honeycomb type of. So he named it as cellula, I think so.
No, the thing is, the story behind this
Yeah.
is there was a king. What he did, he told to take microscope and study microorganisms. Okay, so what happened? He gave this project to Christopher, a scientist, and he was kind of busy, so he gave this to Robert Hooke. Okay, what Robert Hooke did, he designed a cell microscope.
Yes, ma'am. Did he design the microscope?
Yes, self-designed microscope.
Oh.
Yeah. So he started studying and he designed this microscope. Okay. So what he did, he took a cord, cord, the bottle top. Okay, this one. From where do we get this bark of a tree? Okay, and what he found is this structure. Yeah, you can see, right? This structure, and he found this little spaces, little empty spaces. Okay, and he
Yes,
called
ma'am.
this
Ma'am,
cells.
ma'am, what is that empty space for?
He called it as cells. Okay, little room. In Latin, it is little room. Okay. See, he discovered this honeycomb-like structure. It had honeycomb-like structure, and these spaces he called it as cells. So from this, the cells began, the fundamental unit of life. From here only, he discovered this in 1665. Okay. Now we can go down the history. Robert Hooke, cell. Then Robert Brown, 1853, discovered nucleus. Yes. Okay. So you can see the difference, right? 1665. Then after that, 1833. So many gaps. So after he discovered cells, many scientists began studying cells, the inside of the cell, what it is made up of. Okay. Now after that, Sweden and Swan in 1839 they proposed cell theory. Okay. What is cell theory? Advika? Yes.
Ma'am, you can see me, right? Hello.
So Sweden and Swan. Hello, Shazan.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you're able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they propose cell theory. What did they propose? Cells are structural and functional unit of life.
Yes, ma'am.
Cells are structural and functional unit of life. And one more thing, all organisms are made up of cells. Why do I say cells are structural and functional unit of life? Structural, I already told you, because it is the smallest unit, the basic unit, yes, right? Building block. So it is structural, basic structural unit of life. Then what about functional? Yes, we had cells are made up of tissues. Tissues are made up of organs. Organs are made up of organ systems.
Ma'am, organ systems.
Yes, yes, organ systems. Okay, so what is happening here? Here, the main thing, the function, we have our digestive system, excretory system. The basic thing from where it starts, cells. So it is a functional unit of life. Okay, cells are structural and functional unit of life. Next, we all organisms are made up of cells. This you already know. Then what Virchow worked out? He added one more thing. He said that cells arise from pre-existing cells. Cells arise from pre-existing cells. So what do I mean by this? This cell, right? It doesn't come from nothing. It comes from something. That is the pre-existing cell. Whatever it has already existed, from there the cell is coming. Okay? Are you getting me, Shazan? 3 points.
Ma'am, the three main one that cell that one no.
Cells are structural and functional
Yes,
unit
ma'am.
of
Cell
life.
is structure unit of life, and cell is also fundamental unit of life. All cell comes from pre-existing cells.
All organisms are made up of cell. Yes. Then last thing, Last thing, what did I tell?
Ma'am, all cells arise from pre-existing cells.
What do I mean by that?
Means, ma'am, one cell arise from another cell. Means the cell which is existing from before, it gives rise to another cell.
Yes, yes, you got it now, right, Shazan?
Yes, ma'am.
When you're asked about cell theory, what will you write? You will write about the Sweden and Schwann. They gave the cell theory, the 2 points, right? What did they tell? Cells are structural and functional unit of life, and all the organisms are made up of cell. After that, Burkhoff, what did he do? He added on to that. He said, okay, cells are structural and functional unit of life. All organisms are made up of cell. And he added, cells arises from pre-existing cell. Okay, now you got Shazan?
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
Yes, you got it. Then Zikra?
Yes, ma'am.
Zikra also. Then Advika?
Yes, ma'am.
You also got it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
Now there are types of cells, right? First is prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Okay. What do I mean by prokaryotic cells? Shazan? Yes, Zikra,
Yes,
you were
ma'am.
telling something?
Ma'am, single cell is called prokaryotic
Yes,
cell.
Zikra.
Ma'am, single cell is called prokaryotic cell.
Single cell. When I tell unicellular cells,
Yes, ma'am. What happened?
when I tell unicellular cells, then you will give the explanation of single cell, right? Right, Zikra?
Okay, ma'am.
Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about prokaryotic cells.
Okay.
Yes, what is that? I'm not talking about unicellular organisms. I'm talking about prokaryotic cells. Advika,
Ma'am, even I don't know.
when you look into this word, you see you see
Yes, ma'am.
prokaryote. Prokaryote. So prokaryote is from pro, you take the word primitive.
Yes, ma'am.
Karyote is cell. Okay. From you, it is new. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is prokaryote? It is primitive type cell. Yeah. In this cells, suppose we have cell here. Okay. Here, this is primitive prokaryotes, and here I'm having my eukaryotes. All the basic structure. So in prokaryotic cell, we don't have nucleus. We have nucleus, but it is nucleoid. Yeah, it is naked nucleus. The DNAs are naked. You got it? Advika?
Ma'am, could you please repeat that?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat it?
Zikra?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Advika? No. Okay. What I'm telling is,
Ma'am, even I'm still confused.
you're getting confused. Okay. I'm telling is primitive cells, the cells which are not well developed, right? A cell, what does a cell have? A cell have nucleus, right? Cell organelles, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mitochondria and all those stuffs, right?
Right.
So in prokaryote cell, in these type of cells, we don't have the nuclear membrane or nucleus. We have only nucleoid. Inside nucleus, we have DNA, right? So DNA, it is naked. That means it is not covered. Yes, it is not covered by layer nuclear membrane. Okay, you got it, Advika? Advika?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got it.
What I'm trying to tell you, got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So mostly the bacteria examples, the bacteria, they may be having the and mycoplasm example of this mycoplasm.
Ma'am, can you explain again what you have explained?
Okay, I was telling about types of cell. First, it is prokaryote. Yes, I was telling that in prokaryote, you don't have well-defined nucleus. You have nucleoid. And what is nucleoid? Here, the nucleus, I mean the DNA is naked. That means it doesn't have the nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane. Shazan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You got it?
Ma'am, what is this structure again? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is the structure?
What is the structure?
Yes, ma'am.
This is primitive cell. I mean prokaryote.
Okay. Prokaryotic cell.
Yes, prokaryotic cell. we have in this ribosomes, plasmids, and DNA, then mitochondria. Only these. But in eukaryote, we have our nucleus, mitochondria, ribosomes, then endoplasmic reticulum, rough and smooth, both. So these is the cells which have all the well-defined nucleus and organelles. These are called eukaryotic cell. You learn about organelles, right, in next class, okay? In the upcoming classes.
Okay.
Shazan, Zikra, understood?
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Yes. Now we'll talk about the unicellular organism and multicellular organism. From this word
Hello?
itself you can get
Hello?
right? Yes.
Ma'am, sorry, I left the meeting accidentally and my internet was loading.
Okay. Yeah. Advika,
Yes, ma'am.
you may be knowing this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Unicellular organism,
Ma'am, organisms that are made up of one cell.
the organism which have single cell.
Single
Ma'am, yes, one single cell.
Zikra, you were talking about this only, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Shazan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, what?
About unicellular organism.
Okay.
Unicellular, they have only one cell. One
Yes, ma'am.
cell, they constitute only one cell, they have only one cell, and this one cell perform all the function.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, example, amoeba.
Amoeba.
Okay, amoeba. See, this is amoeba. This structure. You can see?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
able to see? Shazan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Zikra? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I'm seeing
And
instruction from you.
yes, Shazan. What were you telling?
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually, I know the structure of amoeba. I think I know some of it. Means the
Yes,
functions
you
which it
know.
does.
Okay. What is the main point, the particularity of
Ma'am,
this amoeba?
I have seen this, but I actually forgot about the functions.
No, I'm not talking about function. I don't need to know. You don't need to know the function. The main point here, this amoeba.
No, ma'am.
This is called pseudopodia. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, this
Yes, ma'am.
pseudopodia, it keeps changing. It's
Its shape.
because of this, its shape is keep on changing.
Yes, ma'am.
Why does it changes its shape?
Yes, ma'am. Why?
Pseudopodia, to engulf food. Okay.
To
Yes.
ma'am, to what? It means change shape for what?
Yeah. This pseudopodia, what it does, it captures food.
Huh.
It bends itself particular. If we have food particle here, what does it do? It comes and surround itself on itself around that food particles.
Okay.
It engulfs us. Okay.
Okay.
Now, one thing, a single thing we have pseudopods, double finger-like structure. It is pseudopods. Single, we call it pseudopod. Okay. Shazan,
Yes, ma'am.
Advika,
Yes, ma'am.
and Zikra.
Ma'am.
Okay. Next example is paramecium. These all are single cell organism.
Ma'am, one is amoeba, the beside one.
Yes, amoeba what?
After amoeba, what is that which is beside it?
I told paramecium.
Oh, paramecium.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Shazam?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. When you look into this picture, what do you feel? What does it look like?
Ma'am, it looks that third one. It looks like a cockroach.
Third one. Yes, it looks like cockroach. It is.
And other ones look like worms, spiders, and ants and all. Caterpillar.
Okay, Cladomonas. This is paramecium. What you can see, Shazam, you told this is cockroach. What about this one?
Ma'am, this.
Ma'am, can I use
that
the-
one? I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this looks like slipper, right?
One, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So it is also known as slipper animalcule. Slipper animalcule.
Oh, okay.
Okay. These all are, and this is bacteria. This is different types of bacteria. These all are single cell. All these are single cell. And what is the specialty of single cell? It performs every function by itself. Okay. Now, when we look at multicellular organism, these are made up of many cells.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, what is multicellular organism?
Ma'am, it consists more than one cell.
Yes, many cells, more than one, many. Okay, many cells. It constitute many cells. So, and here there is division of labor. What is division of labor? Advika, many cells. Next, division of labor. Suppose you have to make a building. Okay, then what will you do? You will call laborers. You'll call 10 laborers. Suppose. Two laborers, you will tell them to do, tell them to take water. Okay, keep on adding water. Then the other two, what will you tell? Make cement. The other two, you will tell them to do the to build bricks, to place bricks. Okay, so this is division of labor. We are dividing. Yeah, we are making the laborers, the people here to do different works, right? In order to make a building. What do I mean by division of labor?
Ma'am, not one cell does all the work. All the work done by the body is divided into cells, ma'am, and specific cells carry out specific
Yes,
tasks.
specific cells carry on specific function,
Yes,
tissues
Yes,
and
ma'am.
organs.
Ma'am, like some of them
organs,
produce
yes.
energy, some
Like
of them
that.
carry oxygen.
Yeah, the digestive system does the digestion work, right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, and the respiratory system helps in breathing.
Work. Yes. Now, we find that in unicellular, mostly we had the microorganisms, right? Examples. Yes, Advita?
Ma'am, can you repeat? Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat the question?
See, for multicellular organism, we have example of
Ma'am, human body.
multicellular organism. Yeah,
Ma'am, human. Ma'am, animals, any animal.
cow,
Yes, ma'am, cow, cat, any organism.
cat, plants.
Yes, ma'am.
And in unicellular, what example we had? What example we had, Advita?
Ma'am, for unicellular, we have amoeba.
We had,
Ma'am, amoeba.
yes, amoeba, paramecium,
Ma'am,
chlamydomonas,
types of bacteria also.
bacteria. Yes. Okay. So we had all this, and this unicellular organisms, we have only the microorganisms, right? When we see all this by the microscope, right?
Yes.
Now I'll tell you something interesting. See, this is tardigrade. Have you heard of this name? Heard this name? This is microscopic organism. So, is it unicellular or multicellular?
Ma'am, it's multicellular.
Okay, you know about this?
Ma'am, I don't know about it, but I'm pretty sure it's not unicellular.
And it is also known as what?
Water. Oh.
Yes, water beer. So this thing, it is multicellular or microorganism. It
Yes,
has
ma'am.
more than 4,000 cells, but it is really very small, and it exists in extreme condition. Yeah, now scientists are trying to take this in space, and yeah, it is the only organism which is able to survive in this space. Okay. Now, what are cells made up of? I told you about, right? Cells. Cells are made up of components called cell organelles. Okay. So, because of this cell organelles, only cells performs its function. So we see that in organism there are different types of cells, right? Tissues, right? And what is the common thing of all organisms? They have cells, okay, but there are different types of cells, right? See, here, sperm cell, it is different. White blood cell, it is different. Red blood cell, it is different. Muscle cell, it is different. Egg cell, nerve cell, ciliated epithelial cell, it is different, right? Zikra, and it performs different function, but all of them have the same cell organelles. What do I mean by that? Cell organelles. Cell organelles are nucleus, plasma membrane, cytoplasm, rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, ribosomes, mitochondria. Okay, we'll discuss more in the next class. Okay, bye for
Okay,
now.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Goodbye.